You know, a lot of people have watched the Republicans. The Democrats have even a more corrupt system because Hillary Clinton and Bernie would be neck and neck if it weren't for these so-called superdelegates. So here's my question. As hard as you have fought against your Republican opponents, I want to know, at least if you won't give us the name, talk about, if you become the candidate for the Republicans, talk about how you will combat the Clinton machine, which will claim you're racist and sexist and on and on and on.
Which is all false. First of all, I have to say, when you say the Democrats, and they have a terrible system also, and you know, it's interesting, because I'm not a fan of Bernie at all. I think he's terrible. But when you look, he wins. You know, he's winning.
8 out of 9.
And then I'll listen to you and you'll say, but he'll never win. Okay, so, you know, he wins all the time. It's run by the politicians. It's run by the machines on both sides. And the Republicans are a little bit different. In the Republican case, like we talk about Pennsylvania, you win in Pennsylvania and you get 17 delegates and 35 or 40 or whatever the number may be, so many can go to somebody that didn't even
They
win.
actually list the delegate names here, but you're right, that doesn't necessarily mean even if you
The bosses can give that out. So the people's vote doesn't mean that much. It's really bad. And that's why they're having massive problems right now. I'm so happy to see it. But they're having, because we want to give the vote back to the people. And the reason, what we have to do, and Sean, the reason they do it is because they want to keep everything within the establishment. You know, they don't care. I almost don't even think they care who wins and who loses. They want to keep it within the establishment. They want to run things. They want to have the money. You know, massive amounts of money are being
and power.
Massive, and they want to have the power. They don't want to lose the power.
Go to Hillary. Imagine it's a general election matchup. It's you, your VP, versus Hillary and her VP. You were hard against some Republicans. Will you be twice as hard against
I think
her?
I'll be much harder. I think it's a lot easier. She's a target that's easier. Really.
Talk about that.
I mean, I was very hard on some Republicans. Some people would say too hard because, you know, it's tough to bring them back. So I say, don't worry about it. You don't have to endorse me. You know, I've told a couple of them, don't endorse me. That's okay. Although I will say this, you'll be amazed. People that you would never think that want to get onto, yeah, they call it the Trump train. I don't know what, you know, I feel. People that you wouldn't believe call me and call my people and they say, we want to get on, we want to get on. It's a very amazing thing. And I actually said to one of them, there's no way you can endorse me after what we've been through, because we had great victory, but it was a rough.
Well, they want access.
You know what they want? They just don't care. They say, no problem. And you know why? Because they're politicians. It's no problem. To me, it's a problem. To them, it's not a problem. And I say, there's no way. And they say, there's no problem. I say, so you'll see names coming out fairly soon of people that are endorsing me that you won't even believe.
But Hillary,
at the highest levels.
Hillary Clinton, in almost every poll, about 2/3 of Americans believe she's dishonest, untrustworthy. She has a 55% unfavorable.
You know, I really think she's got a lot of.
What are her weaknesses?
Well, first of all, I don't think she has the strength or the stamina to be a great president. Do you ever see Hillary? She'll go to one event, and then you won't see her for a long time. Then she'll go to an event, you won't see her. And you need tremendous strength. You need tremendous stamina. She doesn't have the strength. She doesn't have the stamina. She's totally controlled by special interests. Look at the money she's raising from Wall Street and all these people. I'm not raising any money. You know, it's interesting. I have Wall Street guys that I know sort of all, and they want to give me tens of millions of dollars. I say no.
You can send them my
so
way.
Weird.
I'll take it.
You know, it's not my life. My whole life is I like take money, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. And I will, but I'm going to take money for the people. We're gonna make this.
I think you're holding it close to the vest how hard you're going to hit.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea.
And if they hit back, is everything on the table?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter.
That's the way it should be.
You know, when I won Florida, there were 38,000 negative ads. Can you believe it? I had this big tournament at Doral where Adam Scott, you know, the great Adam Scott player from Australia, he's winning. And before they gave him the trophy, they did 4 negative commercials on me. I said, turn those televisions off. They were all over the place. That was my tournament at Doral. It was the World Championship. The Cadillac World
back to the Donald Trump tournament. Here's an ad for Marco Rubio.
Oh, it's terrible. And I knew it was going to happen. Every time you couldn't turn on a television in Florida without that week before the big deal. And I won. In fact, I said, there's no way I can win Florida with all these never. But the worst thing, so we're getting ready to hand the trophy to great Adam Scott, who's a great player from Australia, one of the top players of the world. He had just made this incredible shot on the 18th hole, chipped it way up, right? So he wins the tournament by one stroke, and everybody's going crazy, thousands and thousands of people. And they say, and now for a commercial. Before we, and I'm saying, oh no, I hope it's not. One after another. And I have all these people from Cadillac and from the PGA, they're all looking at these horrible ads. And I said, there's no way I can win Florida. I won it by 20 points.
We'll take a break. We're in Pittsburgh with GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. It's Hannity on the road. Stay right there. We'll talk about ISIS and, of course, all the issues of the day. Straight ahead. And welcome back to Hannity. We're in the Steel City. We're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we continue with 2016 Republican GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. All right. I am nervous for our children and our grandchildren. There's this cute little girl in the front row here that I talked to earlier, and she brought up about the safety and security of our country. Specifically, you have said we're going to bomb the out of ISIS.
Right.
Do you really believe, do you think it's going to take boots on the ground? Do you think we're going to have to send guys back? Do you think this is an ongoing war that's going to last for generations?
Well, first of all, you know, I was very, very strong on people coming into this country, and nobody wanted to mention it, nobody wanted to talk about it. And I was very, very strong. And, you know, we're going to have to get a lot tougher, a lot smarter, a lot more vigilant. Otherwise, we're going to have problems like you've never seen before. You know, we used to have armies. You'd fight Japan or you'd fight Germany. They had uniforms on. Now we have people, we don't know who they are. We're letting thousands and thousands of people in our country right now. They have no documentation. There's no paperwork. Nobody knows who they are. They could be ISIS. Some might be ISIS. We better be really careful. And I can tell you, the people that are coming into the country, sadly, they're going to have to go out because we have no idea. We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea. So, and they're coming in from Syria, and you know, I spoke with a lot of great experts in terms of safety and borders, and they say there's absolutely no idea to judge when you don't have any documents. Now, ISIS is also now making passports. You saw that. They stole the passport machines, so they're now making passports. These are very slick customers. We're going to have to knock the hell out of them. I will say this. I don't want to put people, you know, we've spent probably, if you add it up, probably $5 trillion over there. In the meantime, our country is falling apart. Our infrastructure is falling apart. I was against the war in Iraq right from the beginning, but you shouldn't have gotten out the way they got out. When you look at Obama, what he did.
Take the oil and let him pay for it.
I said, take the oil.
Right.
I said, take the oil. I wrote about Osama bin Laden. In a book that was published 2 years before the World Trade Center.
And you talked about Brussels ahead of time.
I said about Brussels. Oh, the New York Times, they killed me. I talked about Brussels. I said 5 months ago, Brussels is a hellhole. And the New York Times did a major story. What right do I have to say that? And then they had the problem, but I was right.
But is bombing, do you think, going to be enough, or is it going to be a combination? And is it one of those cases where America, it seems, always has to do the heavy lifting?
Yeah. Let me just say, if we had leadership, we can get other people with the boots. You have the courage. You have people that are willing to fight. But you know, we don't arm the right people. We don't give the Kurds what they want, but we give other people, and a bullet's fired in the air, they run. I have a friend whose son is over there three sessions. I mean, he's been over there for a long time. And you know, he comes back. He said the saddest thing is when the enemy has better equipment than we have. And you know where they get it? We give it to people. We don't know who we're giving it to. A bullet's fired in the air. They run, and the enemy, ISIS or whoever it may be, takes the equipment, and they now have better and more modern equipment than we do. And we're the ones that put it over there. Look, we have to be so strong. They're chopping off heads. And you know, during one of the debates, they asked a question about waterboarding. And they asked it to Cruz. And he didn't want to answer it. He didn't want to talk because... the home of Big Ben, who we love, right? We love Big Ben. But he's a good guy. He's a tough guy. We could use a little more of that attitude.
True.
But they talked about waterboarding, and he didn't want to get involved with it. And they asked me, they said, "What do you think about waterboarding?" I said, "I think it's fine." And then they said, "Well, what else?" I said, "If we can do more than that, it's good." Think of this: they're chopping off heads and drowning people in big steel cages, and we can't waterboard. Okay. That is not the secret to success, that I can tell you. And one of the things we have to do, we have to take their wealth away.
Do you think this is a
We're not taking their wealth away. We're not bombing the oil. We're sending leaflets down. In an hour, we may be bombing your truck. Please remove yourself from. We don't know what we're doing.
Do you think this is generational, or do you think we could literally? Because I think this is the modern. These are the modern day Nazis. This is evil in our time.
It's very evil.
And I want to know: is this generational, or can we actually win that war?
I think you can win it, but you're going to have to be very tough. You're going to be really smart. This is.
And you're prepared to fight that to the end.
You know what? This is not like fighting Germany. This is not like fighting these countries that we were able to beat. This is 35,000 people, and they laugh at us, at our stupidity. They can't even believe it. No, think of it. It's true. When we bomb, we send leaflets down. We're going to be bombing your truck. We don't know. You know that, and this is true, they don't want to bomb some of the oil because they don't want to create environmental impact. Do you know that? They don't want to create,
and we tell our military, we literally tie their hands. They have rules of engagement that they can't shoot and fire, even if fired upon.
So Hillary goes into Libya, and you have the Benghazi problem, you have all the things. But she goes in. Now, who has Libya? Who has it? ISIS has it. And they have great oil. And you know what happens with the oil? They're selling the oil. We don't do anything about it. We don't create a blockade. We don't do anything.
We got to take a break. What? I don't mean to interrupt you.
That's
When we come back, we'll have more with Donald Trump. We'll get audience questions in as we continue from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Donald Trump, the GOP 2016 frontrunner. All right, we have questions. Sir, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Mr. Trump.
No pressure. No pressure.
So, as a college student, people are constantly telling me you should be a liberal, but I'm not so sure about that. Why should college students vote for you, Mr. Trump?
Because I'm going to create jobs. You know, the biggest problem, I have dealt with more college students than I ever thought possible, and they're incredible people, and they go to good colleges, they do well, some are top of their class, and they come up to me and they borrow to the hilt, and they're all, you know, they don't know what's going on because they can't get jobs, and they can't get good jobs. And even the other side will admit that the jobs that are being produced they call them bad jobs. They're not good jobs. They used to be good jobs. Our good jobs are gone, and it's very unfair. I will create so many jobs that the kids in college are going to be so happy. We're going to bring our jobs back.
Ma'am, you get the last question tonight. Hi.
Take the other end. Hi, Donald. As a young person, I'm concerned with the future of Social Security. So I was wondering, do you have any thoughts on what will happen to Social Security in the future?
We're going to save Social Security. We're going to save it. I'm the only one that wants to do this, and some people would say that's not very Republican of you or conservative of you. We're going to save it. People have been paying into their security for years and years. We're going to save Social Security. We're bringing our money back. We're bringing our jobs back. We're going to bring our wealth back, and we're going to save it and Medicare. Okay?
All right, we got time for one more question. Sir, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Trump. I have a question on the delegate situation. We have seen in this country that obviously there are other powers that help run that system, and we've seen that delegates have been stolen from you and other candidates that are rightfully winning them. What is your plan to, as far as going forward, to keep that from happening and to keep the delegates?
We got 30 seconds.
The only thing that can happen is the people have to demand it. The Republicans and even the Democrats, they have to demand a fair system because it's not democracy. It's not fair. It's not right. If I come in and win, as an example, I come in and win Pennsylvania, and then you find out that you get a small number of delegates and some guy can steal it because he's friendly with the machine. It's no good. It's not a good system, and it's got to be changed, or you're going to lose a lot of people. You see what's happening? Colorado is literally, they're rioting out there right now.
We got to take a break.
Got to be changed.
We'll come back. More from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Hannity on the road with Donald Trump straight out. And welcome back to Hannity. Pittsburgh, did you have a good time tonight? Thank you for being with us. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening. Mr. Trump, thank you so much. Great to see you. Pittsburgh, we love you. Thank you for coming out. We'll see you back in New York tomorrow night. The Arrive Pack is on tonight.
Our Republican system is absolutely rigged.
Bad news for the Republican Party. Donald Trump saying he's not getting a fair shake at the nomination. Tonight we'll take a hard look at that accusation and the damage to the GOP.
America's long struggle with racism is far from finished. And we are seeing that in this election.
Hillary Clinton addressing Al Sharpton's crew today. Same old stuff. Ed Henry was there. Also ahead, hundreds of thousands of American teachers being assaulted in classrooms, and little is being done about it. We'll have a factor investigation. In addition, I will announce the latest killing book. Is the Republican Party in crisis? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It's becoming clear that many major Republican politicians might not attend the convention in Cleveland this coming July. As you may know, the party is split over Donald Trump, and he may very well secure the nomination. However, Mr. Trump believes the system is rigged against him, pointing to Colorado, where Ted Cruz got all the delegates last weekend without a traditional vote by the folks.
Our Republican system is absolutely rigged. This was a dirty trick. These are dirty tricksters. This is a dirty trick, and I'll tell you what, the RNC, the Republican National Committee, they should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this kind of crap to happen. I can tell you that.
Clearly, Mr. Trump is sending a signal. If he does not get the nomination, he will not go quietly into the night. His point is that votes from human beings should be the deciding factor in the primaries. But that has never been the case. Beginning in 1832, party leaders have selected the candidates. Today, the delegate system's chaos, with each state deciding what kind of selection process will take place. So in Colorado, the Republican Party chieftains select the delegates, not the folks. It's even worse in the Democratic Party, where so-called superdelegates can vote for whomever they want, no matter who wins the direct voting primaries. They can override that. Now, Talking Points believes the system needs to be reformed, but it's not going to happen this year. However, if Donald Trump is denied the nomination and has more votes than Ted Cruz or John Kasich, the Republican Party will fracture, and Hillary Clinton will become the next president of the United States. So you can see how desperate the situation is if you do not believe Hillary Clinton is suitable for the presidency. Opponents of Donald Trump believe that even though he is the vote leader right now, his support is thin nationwide. Most polling backs that up. So if he does get the nomination, the Republican Party could very well be slaughtered next November, not only on the presidential ticket, but also in the House and the Senate. It should also be noted that despite Mr. Trump's success, most Republican primary voters have not supported him. He tops out at about 37%. But his support is extremely loyal, even fervent. So this is one big mess. And while Bernie Sanders is offering a stiff challenge to Hillary Clinton on the Democrat side, there's no question Mrs. Clinton will secure the nomination. On the Republican side, however, it's either going to be Trump or Cruz, but neither candidate will have the support of the entire party. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction, joining us from Grand Rapids, Michigan, John Yob, author of the new book, Chaos, The Outsider's Guide to a Contested Republican National Convention. From Washington, Kyle Condit. From the University of Virginia Center for Politics, he is the author of The Bellwether, Why Ohio Picks the President. So Kyle, am I making any mistakes in my talking points analysis?
No, Bill, I think you basically got it. I think what's important to note, though, is that, you know, in the 4 decades or so where voters have actually had, a fair amount of control over who the Republicans and Democrats nominate for president, the voters have offered, a fairly clear verdict, particularly since 1980. This time, they're not really offering a clear verdict. As you noted, Trump is only getting about high 30s percentage of the vote. And so it's kind of a system where if you don't get 50% of the delegates, you're not really getting majority support, and therefore it defaults to the convention to choose who the nominee is going to be.
Who made up the 1237 number? Where did that come from?
The Republicans have always had fewer delegates than the Democrats have had. The Democrats just have more people coming to their convention.
No, but why 1237? Why not 1232? Or, where did that number come from? Was there any mathematical formula to put that on the table?
It's kind of a complicated formula. There's three delegates from every congressional district.
Okay, so there is some kind of formula. I mean, I don't want to get into the math here. Mr. Yob, what about the strategy, and I think that's what it was, of Donald Trump yesterday, basically saying, look, it's rigged, Colorado's rigged, Wyoming will be rigged this weekend, we expect Ted Cruz to get those delegates. You better not mess with me, because if you do, it's going to be trouble at the convention. Don't you think that was the message that Mr. Trump was sending?
I think that's the message that he was sending, but the reality is you've always needed a majority of the delegates in order to win the presidential nomination. You needed it in 1856 at the first Republican convention. You needed it in 1860 when Abraham Lincoln came in third on that ballot, in the first ballot. You needed it in 1976.
Look, this is rigged. I'm not going to be a part of it. I'll see you later. His supporters are going to consider that. Don't you think they're going to consider that, Kyle?
Yeah, I think the problem for the Republicans is that you could see a situation where any nominee turns off a certain segment of the party. If John Kasich somehow got the nomination, I think there'd be a lot of hardcore conservatives and Trump supporters who wouldn't back Kasich.
Yeah.
Cruz could turn off a segment of the party, and so.
But Trump is the big guy. Let's face it. His